Hi, it's the end of another legislative week, and here to talk about it, as always on Fridays, is Mike McNutt, our Chief Capital Correspondent. Mike, thank you for being here today.
You bet.
You know, as always, there are 100 things we could talk about in this short time, but today we'll focus on the story you wrote today about the governor saying thanks but no thanks to the federal money that would create an insurance exchange here in Oklahoma. Talk, if you would, kind of sum that up for us in the next 2.5 minutes.
All right, 2.5 minutes, I can sum that up. Well, basically, we all know what this is part of the health care bill that was approved last year by Congress, pushed by President Obama. We know that in Oklahoma, many people don't like that idea.
Hot button issue here.
Right. In November, people went to oppose, opted out of the mandatory health care insurance.
Right.
Right now, it is law, but there's lawsuits, several lawsuits, and depends if Congress, the Republican House wants to try to repeal the health care plan. But right now it's a law. And so before the Governor Henry took office, the Health Care Authority applied for money, federal money, to set up what's called these health insurance exchanges, which is really simply just kind of a website, informational shopping area for people to find out about insurance. About 18% of Oklahomans don't have health insurance.
Right.
And this was talked about by a state legislative task force back in 2008. Legislation was passed in 2009 to get more people to get health care insurance.
Right.
They wanted to get this website. But the state was going through a downfall, had no money. Now here comes the federal government. It's part of what people call here Obamacare. Right. We have these health care exchanges, which is part of it to supplement the health care bill. So Oklahoma applied for this grant in November. It was one of several states in February that was announced it received the grant, an early innovator grant it's called, $54.6 million. Now we have a new governor in February, Governor Fallon, a Republican, who while in Congress last year voted against the health care bill and campaigned last year strongly against it.
Sure.
And said when she
was for it. She wanted this money. She wanted this grant, right? And the speaker wanted it.
Yeah, they want the health care exchange.
When the Senate started dealing with it, they said, not a good idea.
Yeah, the speaker put together a bill to set up this board. Of course, the money, the federal grant would fund how the board would come up with ideas how to implement this system. The federal money would be used to fund it. The House passed it narrowly, 51 votes at bare minimum. Went to the Senate. The Senator Bill Brown, the Senate Health Insurance Committee chairman, who's in insurance about 40 years, looked it over and said, hey, there's a lot of woolly boogers in there he didn't like. Told the President Pro Tem, Brian Bingman, about it, and Senator Bingman 2 weeks ago, without telling the governor in advance, just kind of said, the Senate's not going to hear this bill, and we don't think we should take this money. We've seen the past 2 weeks the governor and House Speaker and Senate President Pro Tem meeting about this issue, and then yesterday all three met and the governor announced they will not take the money. They make it very clear they're going to use state and private money.
As it comes available.
Yeah, and the speaker says maybe it won't cost $54 million. Question is, who's going to do this? People think it's going to be health insurance companies, and there's some skeptics out there who think, hey, is that the best thing to do? Right. So it's we'll see. There's going to be legislation that's being drafted now to set up the mechanism, set up this public-private trust that will be made up of people, the various people, and then they'll try to raise money and get the money and see how this gets implemented.
Well, as I said, there's a million other things we could have talked about. Our time is short. Mike, thank you for your time today.
Yeah.
And we invite you to read Mike's stuff every day in the Oklahoman and here on News OK.